So, kamusta? Hindi na kayo makasagot. So, nare-realize ko talaga na sobrang himbing ng pagdadasal ninyo para sa hapon ito. Kaya mag-alala, tutulungan ko mas maging mahimbing pa yung pagdadasal ninyo. Okay. So, magandang hapon sa ating lahat. Ako po si Gabs. You may call me simply Gabs or Kuya Gabs or kung nahirapan kayo, cute na lang. So, isa akong Verbunde youth and young professional as well from Pansol. So, bago ko po simulan ang aking talk, magsa-start muna ako. So, ang aking pong talk ay regarding sa catechism on the Last Supper. And allow me to be a little bit sentimental first before I start my talk. Nakilala ko yung community nung ako'y 12 years old pa lamang. And that was way back 2010, 2011. And para sa akin, yung pinaka-turning point ng aking participation sa community was when I was sent to participate in my very first Easter encounter in 2015 dito rin sa Tagaytay. Nung sumunod na taon, immediately, I was asked to give a testimony sa Via Lucis. That was the following year. And then years later, by the grace of God, nandito na ako. Was given the opportunity to give that talk. So this is really a full circle moment for me. And my being here really is a testament to the faithfulness ni Jesus in accompanying me and joining me. And I think it is the same for every one of us. Kasi makikita natin talaga yung sa film scripts natin, di ba? Na talagang napaka-faithful ni Jesus in accompanying us in our journey, especially in our life journey. And sinamahan talaga niya tayo, no? Una, sa pag-aantay natin ng pagdating o pagsilang ng kanyang anak nung Advent or nung panahon ng Advento. And nasaksihan din niya yung paglago natin sa panahon ng ordinaryong panahon, di ba? And then sinamahan niya rin tayo sa ating 40 araw na paghahanda sa panahon ng Kwaresma. And on this moment, now that we are here, dito sa Tagaytay, sa Reparatrix, God is asking us right now, will you journey with my son? Pwede mo bang samahan naman yung anak ko? And if your answer is yes, we can take this moment as a start of journeying with Him simply by understanding what He is about to do. Nanggaling na tayo sa panahon ng Kwaresma, kung saan ay inihanda natin ang ating sarili sa loob ng 40 araw, 40 days, na hindi kasama yung Sunday, so that's 40 days, sa pamamagitan ng pagdadasal, pag-aayuno, at pagbibigay. Itong nakaraang linggo ng Palaspas, ay ang hudyat ng ating pagpasok sa huling linggong panahon ng Kwaresma na tinatawag nating Semana Santa or Holy Week. And later today is the start of the celebration of the 3 holiest days in the liturgical cycle. The Maundy Thursday, the Good Friday, and the Easter Vigil, hence the Easter Triduum. Ang Easter Triduum ay ang kasukdulan o ang ruro or the climax of our faith. Dahil sa araw na ito, magsisimula ang selebrasyon ng ating paggunita sa pagliligtas sa atin ni Jesus Christ. So, ang kahulugan ng salitang Easter ay Sacred Paschal or Holy, Banal. Samantalang ang Triduum naman ay isang Latin word na ang ibig sabihin ay 3 days. So sa makatuwid, ang ibig sabihin ng Easter Triduum ay banal na 3 araw. Bagamat nandito tayo sa loob ng 4 na araw, ang selebrasyon na ito ay binibilang lamang sa loob na 3 araw. Kasi nga, ayon sa Jewish calendar, nagsisimula yung kanilang pagbibilang ng araw sa pagsapit ng gabi. So kung makikita natin, hindi ba, we are now in Maundy Thursday. So ganito siya, yung Mass of the Holy Supper is magsisimula later this night. And then the following day is the Passion of Christ. And then on Saturday night is the Easter Vigil. And the following day, the Easter Sunday morning. Kaya Triduum, yung tawag sa selebrasyon na to, kahit na nasa loob tayo ng 4 na araw, kasi pangit daw, pag tinawag siya forum. Mali. Limutan niyo na yun. Okay. So, though chronologically, it is in 3 days, they are liturgically 1 day unfolding for us the unity of Christ's Paschal mystery. So, ang Easter Triduum ay isang buong misa na magsisimula ngayon at magtatapos sa Easter Vigil. At ito ay paggunita sa Passion, Death, and Resurrection ni Jesus. It is one marvelous event stretched out over the 3 days. Ang Easter Triduum ay ang ating pag-alaala sa 3 huling araw ng buhay ni Jesus dito sa ating mundo. Kung saan ay iniaalay natin ang kordero ng Diyos para sa ikapagpapatawad ng ating mga kasalanan. So it is known as the Paschal Mystery because it is the ultimate fulfillment of the ancient Jewish Passover or Pasch, which itself was the recollection of how God brought out the Jews out of their slavery in Egypt. So familiar naman tayo sa story ng Exodus, hindi ba? Yung pinaka-last na yung testing ni God para sa mga Egyptian is yung kapag kapag hindi nalagyan ng dugo ng Passover lamb, yung bahay ng mga Hudyo na hindi sila dadaanan ng tinatawag na angel of death. So where the spotless lamb was slaughtered at the Passover meal and consumed, and that night the destroying angel passed over the homes marked with the blood of the Passover lamb, and those whose doors are covered by blood were saved. So yun, doon ang galing yung tinatawag na Passover o yung Paschal Mystery natin. Si Jesus ang nagsilbing pinakakatuparan ng Paskwa, kung saan ay inihain niya ang kanyang sarili bilang isang tupang walang bahid kasalanan para palayain tayo sa ating pagkakaanibin, hindi sa mga Ehipto, pero sa ating mga kasalanan. At sa pamamagitan ng banal na misa, ay kinakain natin ang siyang tumubo sa atin sa mga kasalanan. So the Paschal Mystery, therefore, is God's plan of redemption for the fallen human race through the passion, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. So ang Triduum din ay ang panahon para samahan natin at sundan ang yapak ni Jesus tungo sa kanyang nalalabing oras dito sa mundo. So we have this whole Easter encounter to really deepen our understanding sa Easter Triduum. So allow me to explain to you kung ano nga ba yung essence ng Maundy Thursday. So ngayong araw is Maundy Thursday ay ang simula nga ng Easter Triduum. At ang salitang Maundy ay galing sa Latin word na mandato, na ang ibig sabihin ay commandment or kautusan, which is from the first word of the Gospel acclamation. I give you a new commandment, love one another as I have loved you. From John 13 verse 34. So sa Maundy Thursday, dalawang mass celebration ang ginaganap natin. So in the morning, we celebrate what we call the Chrism Mass. And ang gospel reading para sa misang ito ay mula sa Luke 4, verses 16 to 21, ang hindi pagtanggap kay Jesus sa Nazareth. And then later at night, at the Mass of the Lord's Supper, or the institution of the Holy Eucharist as the true body and blood of Jesus Christ, and also the institution of the sacrament of priesthood. At yung gospel naman na maririnig natin mamaya sa misa ay mula sa John 13, verses 1 to 5. Ito'y patungkol sa paghuhugas ni Jesus ng paa ng mga apostol. So, sa Christmas, sa umaga ng Maundy Thursday, ang lahat ng bishop at pare sa buong mundo ay nagtitipon sa kanilang mga lokal na katedral para i-celebrate yung pagkakatatag ng pagpapare o institution of the priesthood. And sa misang ito, binabasbasan ng obispo ang mga langis na ginagamit natin una para sa binyag, sa confirmation, and sa anointing of the sick. And sa misa rin ito ay hinuhugasan ni Bishop ang paa ng 12 pari na sumisimbolo sa paghuhugas ni Kristo ng paa ng kanyang mga apostol na siyang ating mga unang obispo at pari. And kinagabihan naman, dahil nga yung Pasko ay nagsisimula sa gabi, ang hudyat ng pagtatapos ng Kwaresma at pagsisimula naman ng liturgy ng banal na Trinity. Ang misa ng huling hapunan ay siya namang hudyat at simula ng 3 pinakabanal na araw sa simbahang Katoliko. So, hindi natin kinakanta ang Gloria o Papuri sa panahon na katulad ng Kwaresma at Adbyento. Pero kung merong kapistahan o yung tinatawag nilang solemnity sa mga panahon ito, ay kakantahin natin ang Gloria. At dahil nga ang misa ng huling hapunan or yung Last Supper ay isang solemnity, therefore, we will be seeing the Gloria. So pagkatapos ng homily, meron ding optional na washing of the feet ceremony tayong ma-witness. So bakit optional? Kasi nga, depende sa pare kung pagkakatiwalaan niya yung mga paa ninyo. So depende kay Father yun. So kapag nakita niyo mamaya na walang washing of the feet, confirm. So sumisimbolo ito sa kanyang role bilang isang tagapaglingkod, katulad ng ginagawa ni Jesus sa kanyang mga disipulo. And sa misang ito, ginugunita natin yung pag-aalay ni Jesus ng kanyang sarili bilang tupang pangpaswa nga or sacrificial lamb. And tanda ito na ang bawat pari, actually hindi lamang ang mga pari, even tayo na nakikinabang ng Holy Mass, ay dapat sumunod sa parehong halimbawa ng pagsasakripisyo ni Jesus. And ito rin yung pag-aalaala natin sa pagpapaalam ni Jesus sa kanyang mga tagasunod. And dito rin niya sinabi na siya ay pagtataksilan at ibibigay sa kamay ng mga Romano. So the Mass of the Last Supper stresses the importance that Jesus puts on humility, service, and fraternal love. So una, humility. God making Himself lower than angels, that's from Psalm 8 verse 5, is already a testament to His humility. And yung humility na to ni Christ was explained best by St. Paul sa kanyang letters to the Philippians. Sabi ni St. Paul sa kanyang letters to the Philippians, chapter 2 verses 6 to 8, kahit siya'y likas at tunay na Diyos, hindi niya ipinagpilitang manatiling kapantay ng Diyos. Sa halip, kusa niyang hinubad ang pagiging kapantay ng Diyos at naging katulad ng isang alipin. Ipinanganak siyang katulad ng karaniwang tao. At nang si Kristo'y maging tao, nagpakumbaba siya at naging masunurin hanggang kamatayan. Maging ito man ay kamatayan sa krus. So ganon yung embodiment ng humility ni Jesus. So imagine, He is already God. And then He lowered Himself, lower than an angel. Naging tao siya. And even in His humanity, He lowered Himself into becoming a servant. So ganun yung humility ni Jesus. Jesus from the day of His birth to the day of His death is the embodiment nga of humility. And this very attitude of Him, I think, is the reason kung bakit parang wala lang sa Kanya talaga yung mga pangkukutya at pangiinsulto na natanggap niya habang binabaybay niya yung burol ng Kalbaryo. And this isn't just courage. Hindi lang ito katatagan ng loob. This is Jesus being true to Himself until the very end. Because He is so rooted in His humility, which is why He loves unconditionally. Hindi humihingi ng kapalit at hindi rin nagpipila. So sana, in our own little way, sana tayo rin. Also, in service, in this Mass, Jesus gave us His last and greatest commandment of loving one another as He has loved us. Hindi lang siya basta-basta nag-iwan ng isang utos and then umalis and then aasahan niya na susundin niyo yung utos na yun. So instead, He Himself shows this to us by kneeling down washing and kissing the dirtiest part of our body. And this is the act of humility in its highest form, signifying how God had to come and join in our situation of sin so He could fix that problem from within. And by washing their feet, Jesus is concretely showing us how He came to serve and not to be served. And if we really are His followers, and if we really claim to be His followers, we should always be willing to take the basin and the towel and pour out ourselves for others. And this is an example that we should be following if we really are to take that steps. So kung talagang sinasabi natin na tagasunod tayo ng Diyos, we really need to follow the example that Jesus has given us. And it is a reminder that if we want to be in communion with Christ, we should also be in communion with others. So kung talagang gusto natin maging in communion with God or nakikiisa sa Diyos, dapat nakikiisa rin tayo sa kapwa natin. And lastly, the fraternal love o kapatiran is an invitation for us to remain in brotherly and sisterly love towards one another. Na kahit na tayo may mga pagkakaiba, may mga hindi pagkakaunawaan at times, at may mga hindi pagkakaintindihan, na kahit na tayo ay kung minsan nakakapag-away, Jesus is reminding us again and again na dapat ay babalik at babalik pa rin tayo sa paghuhugasan at paghahalik sa paa ng bawat isa. And indeed, loving one another. So the celebration emphasizes the critical importance of the Eucharist and the sacrifice of Christ's body, which we now find present in the consecrated host, and the need for cleansing with water as a reminder and the symbol of our baptism. And sana, sa pag-attend natin ng misa mamaya ng huling hapunan, maging katulad natin yung palagi nating tinatanggap, which is si Jesus. The invitation is to become a humble servant. Also, during this Mass of the Last Supper, extra hosts are consecrated to be used tomorrow for the Good Friday when no Mass will be celebrated. And then pagkatapos ng misa mamaya, iniimbitahan tayo na magpatuloy para sa adoration of the Blessed Sacrament ng buong gabi. Katulad ng kung paano inimbitahan ni Jesus yung kanyang mga alagad na manatiling gising para samahan siya sa kanyang pagdadasal sa hardin ng Gethsemane. So, for this moment of reposition, walang consecrated host na makikita sa loob ng tabernacle at ng mga altar ng simbahan. Tatanggalin ito at dadalhin sa tinatawag na altar of repose. And hihipan ang mga kandila at papatayin yung mga ilaw sa tabi ng tabernacle. At iiwang nakabukas yung pinto nito para ipakita na ito'y walang laman. At itong pagkawala ng laman ng tabernacle ay sumisimbolo na wala na si Jesus, na siya'y patay na. So, we will soon attend the Last Supper and receive the gift of the Holy Eucharist. This is the body, the blood, and soul, and the divinity of Jesus Christ Himself. And we will enter into the deep meaning of the Holy Priesthood. And we will also be invited to pour ourselves out like water in the basins used to wash the feet of the disciple. And we will be asked with the disciple to watch with the Lord. And we will be invited to enter with Him into His anguish by imitating His holy surrender in His sacred humanity in the Garden of Gethsemane. So masyado bang mabigat para sa first day? Kaya pa ba? Kaya, di ba? Power? Power! Okay. So, given now that we have this initial knowledge that we have about the Triduum, specifically with the Mass of the Lord's Supper, the real question that we should be asking ourselves is, why? Bakit? Bakit ba kailangan natin i-celebrate or alalahanin or mag-participate sa misa ng muling hapunan ni Kristo. So allow me to give you two reasons why. So my first point is, by attending the Mass, or the Mass of the Last Supper, you are concretizing what you believe. So meron akong kwento. Wow, participative. Okay. So last Saturday, merong isang attendee sa aming young professional, School of the Word Singer, ang nagsabi sa akin na mas prefer daw niya umattend ng School of the Word instead na umattend ng misa. So she prefer going to the School of the Word instead of the Holy Mass kasi for her, mas naiintindihan daw niya yung homily kapag nasa School of the Word siya compared kapag nasa 1 hour siya na nasa loob ng misa. And also, according to her, minsan daw may mga pare na hindi magaling mag-explain at hindi magaling magpaliwanag. So to her, it was a waste of time if she keeps on attending, but she will never understand. And so sinabi ko sa kanya, yung sinabi sa akin ni Kuya Jojo, nasasabihin ko din sa inyo. Sabi sa akin ni Kuya Jojo before, di bali nang hindi ka umattend ng School of the Word, basta umattend ka ng misa. So I am not saying that the latter is much more important than the other. So of course, by attending the School of the Word, you will have a much deeper understanding sa Sunday's Gospel and to whom you are about to see, which is Jesus. And we really encourage you to attend the School of the Word because you cannot understand or even love someone whom you do not know. And attending the School of the Word is one way of knowing that someone whom you are about to receive in the Holy Eucharist. What I am trying to say is that by attending or celebrating the Mass, we are concretizing what we believe. Kinokongkreto natin o ginagawa natin konkreto yung pananampalataya natin and yung pinapaniwalaan natin. Because the one standing in front of us, the one that we receive in the form of bread and wine, is not a symbol, is not an image, but Jesus Himself, present and alive. Wanting to encounter us, wanting to be one with us, and wanting to be with us every day. So it is one thing to know something about Jesus sa help ng School of the Word, but it is another to have Him in your life, and what more if you are one and in communion with Him. And then second point, kasi nga, we are a very forgetful people. Isa rin to sa madalas na sinasabi sa amin ni Kuya Jojo. We are a very forgetful people. Mailapag lang natin yung phone natin somewhere, nakakalimutan na natin. Mailapag lang natin yung susi natin, nakakalimutan na natin, di ba? Hindi lang natin makita yung mga naka-interact natin. The last Easter encounter, hindi na natin alam kung sino sila. So we really are a very forgetful people. Also, di ba kapag may magandang bagay na nangyayari sa atin, whether it is celebrating a milestone, or kapag pumupunta ka sa isang magandang lugar, katulad nitong Tagaytay ng Reparatrice, or kapag kasama mo yung taong mahal mo, hindi ba yung reflex natin is telling us to take a picture? Hindi ba yun yung pinakalagi natin ginagawa whenever we experience something so beautiful? We always take out our phone and then we take a picture of it. Kasi nga, we are a sentimental people. We are a very sentimental being. And parte ito ng ating human tendency. And we love to prolong and preserve the beautiful things that happens to us because we know that time has a funny way of obscuring someone's memory or worse, ma-erase. So takot na takot tayo makalimutan yung magagandang alaala na meron tayo. And so, Jesus commands us on this day to not just love one another, but to also do this in memory of me. Do this in memory of me. Because God knows you so much, kilalang kilala ka ng Diyos, at alam niyang makakalimutin ka niya. And therefore, by attending the Holy Mass, you are allowing Him to scream in your face. Tulad nga ng ginamit na verse ni Ate Shah kanina. Every time na nakikita ka ng Diyos sa upuan mo, kapag nasa Holy Mass ka, He is screaming to you, do not fear. Do not fear Ate Elaine. Do not fear Shah. Do not fear Jerome. For I have redeemed you. I have called you by your name. You are mine. Hindi pumipiyok si Lord. Imagine, ganun siya kagaling. Kung yung tao pipiyok kapag nagpo-profess ng love niya sa'yo, si Lord hindi. He will not stutter. Diba? He will always tell you in your face na you are mine. And so, kaya nga, alam niyo, ito yung lagi kong sinasabi sa mga bata ko dito sa School of the Word namin. And I always try to inspire them to attend everyday masses. Ang lagi kong sinasabi sa kanila, go to masses, especially yung mga pag-umaga na kaya namang mag-attend ng panghapon. Kasi yung masses, yung mass is 30 minutes lang. So, kurot lang talaga sa time ninyo. And also because, if we only can see the face of Jesus every time He sees us in front of the altar, every Holy Masses, it is like He is telling us, I have engraved you in my heart and in my mind. And so I instituted the Holy Eucharist, so that you may also have me engraved in your heart and in your mind. Nakaukit ka na sa puso ko at sa isip. Kaya naman itinatag ko ang Eucharistia para rin naman ako ay nakaukit na sa iyo. Para hindi mo ako makalimutan. So that you may know that despite of and in spite of everything, you are reminded every day that you are loved. And I hope that when we come to see Jesus as He gives Himself to us concretely later sa ating Holy Eucharist, in the silence of our heart, may we hear Him say, though my time here is limited, though my time here is short, it was the best thing that happened to me. Being with you, and you alone, is the best thing that happened to me. Remember that. And to some of us, who will be doing this for the first time, again and again, I will tell you, be patient with yourself. Take your time to understand the beauty of this mystery. Huwag niyong hayaan na matapos lang sa Easter encounter na ito, yung pag-discover ninyo kung gaano kaganda ang Holy Eucharist. You have your whole life to try to understand the beauty of the Holy Eucharist. And God does not reveal everything all at once. So be patient with yourself. And as I always say, God is always generous sa mga taong patuloy na naghahanap sa Kanya, no matter what. So if you still, or if you feel na you still don't believe, or pakiramdam mo, nahihirapan kang intindihin yung misa, pakiramdam mo, yung pag-attend ng Holy Mass para sa iyo was so painful, is so boring. Kung hindi mo kayang mag-pray, you just worship. You just adore Him. Kung hindi mo kayang magdasal for that 1 hour, hayaan mong titigan ka lang ni Lord. And let your silence and let your presence be translated into your prayer. And so, may this celebration of the Holy Eucharist, or the Mass of the Last Supper, reminds us again and again that the ultimate prize, ang pinaka-premyo na makukuha natin sa Lent season na ito, is simply that we get to receive Jesus. This is the ultimate aim and reward of Lent. And let us allow this Easter encounter really to bring us closer to an encounter with Christ, who remembers us and loves us deeply, passionately,